if you want to change your life, this video is going to hit you like a ton of bricks. So sit down, get comfortable, get a pen and paper ready, because this one's going to hit you thick and fast, but it's also going to help you transform. I've had 2 clients recently who have had exactly the same thing, completely different situation and context, but both struggle with the same thing. It's something I've struggled with too, and I know millions of other people have struggled the same. Okay, so my name's Ben Mark. I forgot my own name. My name is Ben Mark, and I help people transform their life, improve their content, and become authorities online. With my 2 clients, I'm not going to name names here, right? They both had situations where they were struggling to get that person out of them. They were struggling to really grow and become someone. Okay, so actually, I know I can name him because he's quite comfortable with stuff. Luke, my client Luke, right? He's opened up to me massively. He's had a world full of issues in the past, lost himself to drink and drugs, didn't really have a role model around him, and genuinely just wanted to help people and do good things for people, but was really struggling to just frame this all together. Now, he, like I, struggles with ADHD. Our value comes from being able to just express ourselves. Because we're bigger thinkers, we feel like that energy is where we get our value from. So every time I've seen Luke, and because he feels safe with me, he just offloads. Like, Luke gets going and it's like boom, 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 right? I sat him down in this room and I wanted him to read off of the script. And the script was the words that he had said in a previous post, but simplified down so everyone can understand it, not just him. One of the biggest problems, and I've seen this time and time again, especially with filming fitness content and so on, right, is that you put this script together that you think makes sense. But when you read it back, it's all over the place. It doesn't finish any loops. It doesn't go anywhere. And it's just a lot of words that doesn't really help me transform, right? So you end up making the content and feeling like, wow, like I've got this energy, I've said all these words and this feels brilliant. However, one of the biggest struggles is that then the content doesn't work. So you spent all this time doing it and you're like, hey, I'm just saying all these things and it's not working, yet it's transformed my life, right? And so with Luke, we were sat down and he said a line which made sense and completely just allowed me to hear what the problem was. And I'm going to solve the problem at the end of this video because it's exactly the same for the 2 people, right? And so Luke was trying to express himself and he just turned around to me and said, no, you're not hearing what I'm saying. And he's got that anger and a little bit of frustration in his voice. No, you're not hearing me properly. And I had to stop him. And I said, it's not that I'm not hearing you properly. It's just you're not telling me what you actually want to say. And when I paused with that, you could see him, hey, what's this, right? And what he said to me in that moment was he realised that I was visualising and seeing him as a very different person and the next level of him. And he couldn't quite see that yet. He didn't see what that was the issue, okay? So he was trying to express himself, trying to get his words out, trying to just be that full energy. He wants to impact people's lives. And he said, when I stand in front of people, I make them cry, in a good sense, right? I transform their life. And I said, I get it. I understand. But you're saying way too much to be able to do that. You need simple things to be able to simply change people's lives. One key problem, one key solution, solved. Okay. Yes, there is a lot of other knock-on effects to these things, but we need to solve simple problems. Okay. So I had to get Luke to slow down completely and actually just be present in that moment and say, hey, I get it. I understand where your value comes from. And it was that inner child inside of him that was really trying to just be heard, right? Which, given his past, I can understand why, right? I'm now going to flip over to my other client, right? Now I'm going to keep her name away from this because she's a bit more of a private person, okay? But she has 3 children. I can't remember off the top. I've never met them, but I'm pretty sure she has 3 children, right? If I've got that wrong, I apologise, especially if you're listening back to this. I did a content shoot at her house. Now, she's a very attractive, confident woman, and I'm married. I'm just saying, she's got a great presence around her. She's built this amazing home, and she told me her story, and I'm sitting there going, wow, how tough that must have been to be you, right? And then she was saying to me about the judgment that she got from others and the struggle to post on Instagram, and do I have to show up for the algorithm every day? Do I have to do this? And why is it when I post this and go to school to drop the kids off, everyone's looking at me and so on, right? And as she was talking away, I was just sat there and listening. I went, what do you actually really want to say? And she said that, and she says she believes that she struggles with dyslexia, like she sometimes struggles, like she likes to write things down, but she says sometimes she understands it doesn't all make sense, right? And like I said, I've seen a pattern with this ADHD, dyslexia, like we want to get these words out, but we can't quite, right? And when we say these things, we're full of energy that sometimes the emotion gets in our way and we don't truly say what we want to say, right? And so she's in this moment where she wants to make content. She wants to be able to share her message. She wants to be able to do videos. She wants to feel confident. She wants to be a leader, right? Now, she's gone through hell and back after a really big, like, life-changing surgery. Got her body in the best shape. She's still with her partner. They've got this lovely home. They've got healthy children. And she just wants her kids to see what they can be through her. You know, she doesn't want to just be the mum that makes clothes, you know, gets clothes clean, makes dinner, tidies the house. They want to see, and she wants them to see who she truly is, right? But all this fear and judgment and everything. And this is where the pair of them literally are the same person. It's just very different experiences. Both of them weren't allowing that inner child inside of them to express themselves, to feel heard and feel safe. That person that you've probably had to neglect for a very long time, the never feeling safe enough to be yourself, not being understood, fear of expressing yourself just in case you do get it wrong, overwhelms you, it hits you like a ton of bricks. And then in those moments, you are so far away from feeling like that person that you want to feel like, because you're down here, that it's nigh on impossible for you to make that content. It is literally like just good luck, right? And so the big shift that I had to say to the pair of them was, I'm hearing that little boy, that little girl that was never quite enough. And they're never quite good enough. I'm hearing them. You're hearing them. What do they really want to say right now? Who do they really want to be? Who does that inner child that you've somewhat been neglecting, and subconsciously, you know, you weren't trying to harm yourself, it's just the fact that you've tried to just move away from it because it's easier to keep the house clean and get on with business instead of dealing with that transformation, right? What does that inner child need right now? Who do they need you to be? That inner child that everyone else is struggling with, what do they need to hear right now? What's that simple little message they need to hear that's going to help them transform their life? Both of them, I got them to stop, and I just wanted them to say, that little boy, that little girl that's not being heard, what would they say right now in the simplest terms? And both of them afterwards turned around and went, don't be scared. Believe in yourself. And I know I can do this. I've always dreamed of it. I said, now let's film the content from that place. And both of them, it was like a weight lifted off their shoulders, because instead of neglecting that younger version of themselves, instead of constantly being scared and fearful of every bit of judgment and fear, they just started being that person that they'd always dreamed of being. They took the cape off. They took the mask off. They were just being themselves. Luke turned around and made a video. The first video we tried to make was like 18 minutes long because it just took him that long to get the words out, right? And actually say it in the way he wanted to. The last take of it, we did it in 5 minutes. And we actually cut making the video short because he goes, I just want to see it now. Like, I can feel it. I've got this right. I now just want to see it, right? But it went from 18 minutes to make a video that you still wouldn't want to have used, if I'm being honest, to 5 minutes of pure fire and value, right? And even the best content creators that I've worked with, 3 minutes per video, especially if you're doing lots of scene changes. So 5 minutes sitting here, like, is brilliant, especially for someone who's barely done any of it. The female that I was working with, we then got her to make some other bits of content around that day. And I was just filming her doing bits and pieces. But she said, Ben, I just feel like a whole shift's happening in me. I feel more relaxed in myself. Her partner just noticed this like clarity and this feeling of like safety around herself to express herself a lot more. Luke messaged me afterwards saying, man, I just feel like I can do this now. Like I feel like I've got the clarity and the steps, right? So the message here is, if you are struggling to really show up into your business, into your relationships, into your content, everything, and I'm pointing at this because I've got this here, is like, this is where we help people at the top of their journey with the Authority Accelerator, right? Is that if you're at that place where you know you're capable of doing more, what is that inner child not doing right now? What is that child inside of you? And trust me, I've done this. I've sat there with a picture of myself, like worked out what I was doing to my younger self. It was transformative. I can't tell you how powerful it is. You have to be vulnerable in that moment. You have to be able to then look and go, what does that person need? And then show up for them. Show up as the person that you've always needed. Give yourself the love, the respect, the support, but also don't allow yourself to bullshit your way through it and actually just show up and be the person you want to be. It's the biggest shift. It allows you to realize what you're capable of and actually go and do it. Instead of thinking that would be nice and then maybe one day, like, that's nice, now I'm going to be that person. The confidence, the clarity, the vision, the purpose, the potential is all right there in front of you when you accept that. So please take this away from you today. If you are not showing up as the best version of yourself, if you're not putting out the content and showing up with that authoritative leadership that you know you're capable of, like, doing, and maybe you've already got a successful business, maybe it's already working, but you know something's not right, you're holding yourself back and you're kind of at that stuck, like, friction point. This is the message that I want to share with you today. Go back to that inner version of yourself, that young child of yourself, and look at, go, what am I not doing? What did I promise myself I wanted? Where am I letting myself down? And go 120% there. And doing it for you, doing it for yourself, doing it for your family, doing it for everyone that will benefit off of the back of you doing it, your clients as well. It will transform your life, it will transform your business, and it will transform you, especially as that authority and that confident leader that you've always wanted to be. I hope you found this useful today. I hope you've got some value away from this. Hopefully you're fired up. Maybe you've solved some problems for yourself. Maybe you're looking for someone to do that with. If you need that help, please just send me a DM. I'd love to help. But the whole point of this message today is that you don't have to stay stuck. Two people from vastly different backgrounds, one with children, a lovely home, good partnership, and like lots of opportunity to change her life and actually be the leader that she wants. And someone who's already built the business, got the lifestyle, but just still hasn't stepped into that like zone of genius that he's meant to be at. Those two same people have had the same issue, and both of them have stepped past big limiting barriers inside of themselves by doing that. So please just go away, do the hard work, face your own fears, be an authoritative leader, and be the person that you're proud of looking at in the mirror and seeing showing up every day. And if you found this useful, please subscribe for more.